Coach Prime Deion Sanders and the Jackson State Tigers took home the Orange Blossom Classic, the first win for anyone in the Orange Blossom Classic in over 40 years. We'll talk about what they did good, but what they need to work on moving forward after the bumper. What's good people? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, congratulations to everyone that was able to put the Orange Blossom Classic together for the 2021 season. It's the first time the game had been played in over 40 years. I don't know why this game was away for 40 years, or 43 years, I want to say to be exact. But it is a shame, a crying a shame, that game in Miami, Florida with FAMU versus whoever has been gone for that long. I'm so happy that the game that was once the Black College National Championship is back. So I have to start by saying that congratulations to all those guys that were able, guys and gals, that were able to put that together. Now, to the game. Jackson State won the game over FAMU 7-6. It was the debut for Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback, QB1 for Jackson State, and he looked like he was trying to do too much. So as we all remember, Shedeur Sanders before the season, preseason, let everybody in the SWAC know, like, yo, y'all can't compete with us. We came to Jackson State because we wanted to be here. You guys went to FAMU and Alabama A&M and Alcorn and Alabama State and so on and so forth, Prairie View, whoever, because you had to. You couldn't have went to Alabama or Florida or Georgia or Clemson or Ohio State or Northwestern or Syracuse or wherever. You couldn't go to those schools because you didn't have those offers. We did, Missouri, South Carolina, whoever, but we chose to come here. So when we play SWAC teams, it equates to a blowout. These were his words. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but sure enough, that's what he was saying. And he tried to play like that early on. He tried to do too much. That's why he had 2 fumbles on drives that Jackson State was moving the ball. Now, Jackson State, let's look at Shedeur's number. Shedeur actually he didn't have a bad game throwing the ball. 18 of 24, 220 yards, right? He didn't have a terrible game throwing the ball. Jackson State really couldn't run the ball that well. Peyton Pickett is okay. He had 62 yards on 15 carries, so about 4 yards a carry. Santi Marshall had 23 yards on 10 carries, only 2 yards a carry. And then Shedeur kept getting sacked, so he had negative 13 yards. But he did have a touchdown on a QB sneak on the 1-yard line. But here's the thing about Shedeur. He has to take what the defense gives him. He has gifted, talented weapons. And we found out Joshua Lanier, the Alabama transfer, is tough. He's a beast. Trevante Rucker, the 4-star freshman, the Under Armour All-American, is tough. He makes acrobatic catches as if he's like 6'5". Dude's only 6 feet, but he makes some acrobatic 50-50 balls. I'm coming down with it. He is a beast. Trust your weapons. You need to, and they also need to get the ball to Warren Newman more. He is the most one of the most explosive receivers on the team. He showed it in the punt return. Warren Newman is a beast. Lanier is a beast. Rucker's a beast. Corbin can play, right? So you got all of these guys that can play. You don't have to hit a home run every play. You don't have to hit a home run every play. It's okay to get a single. It's okay to get a double. It's okay to get a couple doubles and a single and a double and a single there. But Shedeur was pressing because I think he was trying to put the SWAC on notice and let everybody know, like, yo, we're Jackson State. We're coming to blow you guys out. And it's okay. It is okay to take the 5-yard hitch and not to try to hold on to the ball, and take a bad sack. Or hold on to the ball, or try to do some juke moves and lose the freaking ball and fumble the ball. That's what happened twice, right? I think Shedeur will get better with time, but he looked like a true freshman out there. As much big crap that he talked or whatever, he looked like a true freshman in his first college football game in front of, 30, 40,000 people, coming from a high school where you had maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people ever watch you play at your high school. So going from 1,000 to 2,000, having not played since last fall, and going to your first college football game where you had 30, 40,000 in Hard Rock Stadium where the Dolphins play. Yeah, that's a big difference than what he played in high school, and he looked like it. But I think he'll get better throughout the season. I think he'll definitely get better. He talks so much that people expected him to go out there and throw for 340 yards. I was listening, I think, to Off Script's live stream, and people were out actually putting in predictions with Jackson State scoring 45 and 50 points, knowing that it was raining, knowing that Shedeur Sanders was a true freshman, knowing that this was his first ever start, and they still were throwing out these predictions. Why? Because that is what Shedeur himself led the fans at Jackson State to believe. But to me and people that know football, that wasn't realistic, especially with the elements, especially with the situation, especially with how big the game was. But I think he'll get better as time goes on, and especially how good FAMU is. Like, let's not take away the fact that FAMU is no soup sandwich. Like, FAMU is not like just some Edward Waters from the spring season. FAMU is a lot better team than them, right? Now, FAMU's got to get their offensive line together because on this end, Jackson State D-line and defense as a whole, it's tough. I really, really like what Coach Prime has put together on that defensive line, that defense, but the defensive line specifically. The defensive line with Niles Gaddy at outside linebacker, Antoine Owen in the middle. I'm forgetting some guys, but those guys in the middle in the trenches, FAMU couldn't do anything with them for most of the night. They couldn't do anything with them for most of the night. Let's look at the stats for FAMU. Rashawn McKay, oh my bless his heart. Rashawn McKay was getting smashed every time he dropped back to pass. Now, he wasn't the most effective passer. He was missing some reads and missing some keys to telling his offensive linemen and audibles to shift and blocks because he was getting blasted. And they finally put Junior Meritovic in the game. And Junior Meritovic, it probably will be FAMU's quarterback moving forward. If I was the coach, I would go with the true freshman because he can spin it. Junior Meritovic can spin it. Now, obviously, he missed the fourth down play. The third down and the fourth down play should have hit his receiver. He missed them, but he is a true freshman just like Shedeur. He came in relief during this game. I think Junior Meritovic is someone that can really spin it. Don't sleep on FAMU moving forward, especially if they go with Junior Meritovic moving forward. Don't sleep on FAMU. I think they'll definitely be a top contender in the SWAC. But that defensive line of Jackson State, boy. That defensive line was playing their tail off. Shedeur Sanders, CEO of the Headache Gang, was out there giving dudes headaches. Oh, my God. I really like the defense of Jackson State. Now, obviously, they got beat on a couple plays, but they didn't give up a touchdown. They made some really, really big hits, some really, really nice plays. They're going to have to get the offensive side of the ball together. And what I mean by the offensive side of the ball, they're going to have to get some – you can't do this now, but they really need some more speed at running back. Santi Marshall has a little more wiggle than Pickett. Pickett is almost like a fullback. Pickett is a big old dude, and he has some nice runs. But they need some speed at running back. That's probably what they're going to do in this next recruiting cycle. And also, the offensive line isn't a cohesive unit yet. The offensive line, I think they have the players. I think they have the personnel. They need to get it together, though. They need to work more as a cohesive units because there were times where Shedeur took some shots because the offensive line. Now, don't get me wrong. FAMU D-line has some ballers over there. There was some studs on that FAMU D-line as well. But the offensive line for Jackson State has to drastically improve. I really like what I saw out of both teams on defense. I think both teams have a lot to improve on the offensive side of the ball, specifically Jackson State and the cohesiveness of their offensive line. And they're going to go through some growing pains with a true freshman starting quarterback. Think about this, guys. Jackson State's home stadium, they fill it up to capacity a lot of times. It's about 40,000 people. Shedeur Sanders in high school, who went to a small private high school in Texas, they never had more than about 2,000 to 3,000 people at their games. As big of a name as Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, they were a small school. So no more than about 2,000 or 3,000 people came to see them play. I mean, that's high, like, so he's not used to playing in front of big, huge crowds. And I think he was trying to show out for the crowd a little bit. That's something he's going to have to work on moving forward. And also Jackson State. y'all got to get the band. The band was rocking, but when you're on offense, your band's got to shut up. There were too many times when Jackson State was on offense, it cost them, it forced them into 2 penalties because the line and the quarterback couldn't hear the snap count, couldn't hear what was going on because the band was playing so loud. It cost them 2 penalties. So Jackson State got to get that together too. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments on your evaluation and your first impressions of Jackson State in their first game against FAMU. I think FAMU is going to have a really good team, but I think Jackson State has the personnel and the talent to really, really, really have a special season this year. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at JLightsy7. I post content on there all the time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.